Yeah, so Shruti, when we talk about less is more in our system, so for us, like especially when we experience while working with so many communities, so what we have realized that large part of India they are living with very less, very few, cosmopolitan cities or metropolitan cities where we have 10-15% of people, what if we compare about our entire
Right,
population. So you find like, okay, 10 to
right.
15% people only who are actually generating surpluses, but large part of Indian population they are already living with less. So we need to think about less is more always, but also these people are giving them a platform to these people that okay, these things can be reutilized. But I would like to emphasize on a mindful giving.
Hey guys, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on a Friday evening on another episode of Dialogues That Matter, a series where we talk to change makers, an interview series where we talk to change makers from different paths and walks of life who are doing great work in their own fields and who we think deserve a platform to be heard, seen, and kind of spoken to and can do with all the visibility. Today we have with us, today is a special and one of our firsts where we are collaborating with our own community, which is Dialogues with Sustainability and Dialogues That Matter, because this conversation in the larger scheme of things comes under the umbrella of sustainability. You will find out why. We have with us today Chandan Sharma from Goonj. And Goonj is basically an organization which envisions to grow as an idea across regions, economies, and countries, using urban discard as a tool to alleviate poverty and enhance the dignity of the poor in the world. They address basic but neglected issues of the poor by involving them in the evolving solutions with dignity and the urban material, which is kind of rethought and used as a reward in the whole process. To talk to us today from Goonj, we have Chandan Sharma, who is the head of Goonj's Karnataka chapter. He is one of the key team members who took after the corporate relationships nationally. He works closely for the implementation of various activities and initiatives of Goonj in Karnataka. And today we're going to be talking about circular economy. Basically, our emphasis on less is more, right? Thank you so much, Chandan, for joining us today.
Thanks, Shruti, and thanks for this platform. Obviously, it would be a good chance to interact and tell people about the circular economy and also how the underutilized material can be a big resource for rural part of India. Thank you so much
Correct.
for this.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And I think let's get right to it. My first and foremost question is perhaps if you can tell us a little bit about Goonj and what Goonj does as a icebreaker, and then we'll get into the thick of things.
Sure. So, Goonj basically focuses on the large part of underutilized material from urban part of India. It
Right.
starts from anything, any kind of household stuff which can be reused by some people in any part of India. And journey started with clothing because our founder, Mr. Anshu, when he in his earlier days, when he started his organization, and our organization, in fact, I would say that
Right.
so he was always wondering about that when we talk about three basic need of human, you say always food, cloth, and shelter. And somewhere you feel like when you talk about development agendas and issues and all, you find something for food, you find something for shelter, but nothing is about clothes.
Right.
So there is a small story which I would like to mention on this platform where
Sure.
why we focused on clothing and why we started this organization and journey. So during his initial days after his mass communication, he was roaming around on roads of Old Delhi to find out a story, and he saw one rickshaw where in Hindi it was written Delhi Police ka last hone wala rickshaw, which means a person who picks up abandoned and unclaimed dead bodies from roads of Old Delhi.
Right.
So for him, it was very strange story. He followed him for a week, to understand about the work process, how does he operate and all. And while doing a story, two shocking statement came up.
Right.
One, the Habib Bhai who used to pick up that dead body and all. So he said again in Hindi, "Saab jado mein mera kaam बढ़ जाता है," which means in winter my work goes up. I have so much of work which I can't handle it.
Right.
So for him, it was a surprise that okay, he asked about the ratio in summer and winter. He said 2 to 4 dead bodies in summer season because of hunger, accident, and all such things. And in winter, almost like 12 to 14 dead bodies, and mainly because of cold. And second shocking statement when his 6-year-old daughter Kaniz Bano, when she mentioned that when I feel cold, I hug the dead body because it does not trouble me, it does not turn around. So for him, it is surprise. It's someone who is forced to sleep with the dead body to make herself warm. So what will be the condition of remote parts of country? And then
Right.
he started traveling in remote. He found so many issues where one of the issue was like people normally dig a pit during winter season and they cover with the dry grass and ask their family member to sleep one by one. Again, they cover with the dry grass. So this was the scenario. So then that point of time he realized that importance of clothing also, and also like when we talk about three basic needs, so we have to think about that. And also in our day-to-day life, we also think about, we often decide about a person which class he or she belongs to on the basis of clothes. So this was the initial case, like an story when he started working, and then around 67 pieces of clothes with that Goon just started 21 years back, and then now we are actually dealing with more than 10,000 plus tons of material all across India. So
Right.
we actually, when we talk about entire process, so journey started with Goonj, and now everything which can be reused, we actually take it out from urban India to rural part of India. So in entire
Right.
process, not only just we started giving just usable material, but also we started so many other concept where even we wanted to, that when we talk about, the processing of entire stuff, so it should be in a dignifying manner. It should go in a manner where, like, people do not think like, we at Gunj, we do not use word called charity or donation, because we need to understand that something is, given by people. Suppose if a shirt, if I have worn for a 6 month, and then if I want to give it off, so it's not donation. In fact, it's a, the more appropriate word is to, say discard. So
Right.
that's what we always feel. So why don't we reposition that material in a way where people feel like, okay, they are like, getting the stuff, but it's not donation, it's not charity. So at
Right.
Gooj, what we do, like, we supply material in a dignifying manner where these things are actually, treated as a tool for development. So where suppose I'll also would like to add that okay, here when we talk about, as I mentioned in my code, that we live in a community where we call, like, there are two types of community where we have, ample resources which we can buy very frequently, discard very frequently. When we talk about other community who actually in the name of basic requirement, they hardly have any basic stuff in fact.
Right.
So people here, they give what they have, and we at the Goonj processing, we give what people need. So we go through the meticulous processing where we make sure that everything which goes from us, it should go to people in rural areas, and it should be in a dignifying manner. In
Right.
this processing, so many things happen. So for example, like, somebody will give, for example, I'll tell about, the cloth, or the pant of the men's pant comes from, 28 to 48 sizes. But
Right.
when you talk about, the community where you can utilize this kind of stuff, so beyond 34 or 36, you hardly able to utilize such kind of stuff again.
Right.
So you have to think about the better utilization of that. That's where, the reutilization of material in an optimum way, and where, like, what is the others, life cycle of particular material, we have to think about that. And that's where, you think about the other second life of particular material. So we also said, for example, when we talk about clothes, so we also mention about another importance of clothing is that every woman needs a piece of cloth which is called sanitary pad. And if you just 2004 2005 when we started talking about this, so we found like there is hardly any research, hardly any case study on menses, and because it's a very taboo subject, people hardly talks about that. But only thing which we found something like varieties of pads, cups and tampons like that. And
Right.
when we started researching, even today also when we go through the research and data, you find like 12 to 15% women they can afford this marketable sanitary pad, and 85% women still they are dependent on dry leaves, newspaper, pieces of mattress, cushion, even they use anything and everything which they feel that can absorb the liquid part, they use as a sanitary pad. So we have case studies where in a village in UP we found like we heard a case study where a lady used a piece of blouse which had a hook and she died of tetanus. When we were in Rajasthan, we found if there are 2 to 3 women in the family, they share same pieces of clothes, the cycles are different. So this is the rural reality. And at Gunj, we deal with tons of material, and you find some torn clothes, some oversized clothes, and there are so many other things. So, and cotton, semi cotton, you can easily take it out and make lots of pads, lakhs of pads we make out of these clothes. And also we would like to mention that when we talk about cotton clothes and cotton pads, which is again not only just solving that issue and fulfilling that particular gap for 4 to 5 days, but also it's a biodegradable. We need to think about reusable aspect. And also when we talk about circular economy, when we talk about environment, we have to think about reusing the material.
Right.
Second thing is that even if we dispose it off, that is biodegradable and also reusable. So cloth is the viable solution which we feel, and that's what we do.
Right.
Right from even if you talk about other materials, so there is a life cycle, so many things, like we also make different types of products out of that. We supply in a way like rural products. So I can go on and on. If you have
Right.
any particular
Yes.
stop,
So
so
I
you
think
can stop me
that's a
so that
lot
I
of
can.
information to give in one go. So I am actually going to ask you to slow down, and I'm going to break it down so we can get as much information as possible. Before that, I'd like to apologize for the distraction because I'm just making sure that the internet gods are in our favor today. That's what I was trying to set. But now I have all your attention. So that I think makes a lot of sense. Roti kapda makan, and often we tend to neglect the kapda part of it, and it's nice to see that there are organizations that are kind of thinking about how you can reuse and try to build an economy out of that by supporting the rural economy, right? So that brings me to the topic of today, which is basically a circular economy, right? It's a term that perhaps not everybody is familiar with. So Chandan, could I ask you to perhaps break it down to us and just tell us what is a circular economy, and why is there an emphasis on kind of empowering and building a circular economy?
So, circular economy, if we just define in a line, then we can we can talk about, the life cycle of particular material where, like, one way you are utilizing material, and after that, there is again second life. For example, if I talk about especially clothes, so 6 months to 1 year, we can wear definitely without any, hassle, and you can use it. Now after that we think about, okay, this is out of fashion, or we have put on weight or lose the weight, then we don't want to use it, so we want to get rid of it. Even the quality sometime it goes down. So
Right.
it means like that you cannot wear, but you can convert it into something.
Yeah.
So we just, for example, when we talked about cotton clothes, we can also make a small so for example, there is a shirt, we can make a one kind a bag, or a kind of carry bag out of that, or kind of sujni, or a thick quilt where we can feel that entire stuff which are non-wearable inside, and we
Right.
can stitch it off. And that can be a good thick blanket or bed sheet where which you can use as a blanket during winter season, or bedsheet during summer season. And
Right.
also this creates a big livelihood for the women who are actually less fortunate. Suppose, for example, the raw material which we collect all across, so it creates lots of employment where, like, most of the disaster affected area, or wherever we find like people who are not having opportunity to earn something, and sometimes that just because of that they are forced to migrate in city, like cities. So we can give them some kind of opportunity to earn something out of that. In a way,
Right.
you are providing livelihood, and also you are giving them an option to reutilize the stuff which ultimately goes on the landfilling. For example, if I
Right.
talk about just clothes, if just there is an example of clothes, that if you grow 1 kg of cotton, can you imagine we spend around 22,500 liters of water. So that's the, what is the impact on environment. Again, if we
Right.
burn that particular clothes, a kg of cotton, approx 3 kgs of carbon dioxide we generate. And we know that, okay, cloth is one of the cause for carbon generation, and there are so many things, right? Even the plastics and all are there. So if you have got something, the plastic, you can just convert it into a pot where
Correct.
you can just plant a tree and use it in a way like the way you want. And there
Right.
are so many decorative items, handicraft items which you can create out of that.
Right.
And that's how, like, you are giving them a second life to the particular item. And that is called circular economy, where your economy is not dependent on only the brand new stuff. It can be reutilized, it can be upcycled, it can be recycled. And
Right.
also that gives you a big opportunity for that economic growth which we believe on that. And
Right.
also, that's how, like, you can define. And we focus on, we do not call the circular economy, but it's a social circular economy, where this is not only just creating an employment, but there are so many things which we are able to do. For example, like the clothes or the items, we make different packages out of that, out of household stuff which we create. We make family pack, we make even the for urban India, especially when you have children at your home, you find prams are there, tricycles are there.
Right.
This is again a big resource. This, when the children has grown up, you will find like there is a whatever corner you will find, you will keep it there. But again, it's a big resource for the anganwadis in rural part of India, where we can utilize this family kit, what we create here, what we make here, that can be given to somebody in rural India. And as we said earlier also, that to dignify the distribution. So when we talk about dignify the distribution, we have a flagship initiative under that. We treat material as a tool for development, where when we give a kit to particular person in particular part of any part of country, so this is not free, this is not donation. As I said, we don't use donation or charity. That is why, so we treat material as a tool for development. So we at Goonj, when we talk about giving such material, so we also think about the dignity of particular person. And one thing, Shruti, I would like to tell, when we go in any particular areas, any part of India, especially rural part, what we focus, what we feel, what we experience, that the biggest asset for the people there is their self-respect. You hardly see any beggars in rural communities. They'll come and ask you something. But if
Right.
you city like Bangalore or Delhi, you might be seeing in every signal, and
Yeah.
it's a city phenomena where people have taken just like a profession. So where, like, we are dealing with the far-flung areas where we find like even people who are earning 100 rupees per day, they want to live in a dignifying manner. So why we should hurt their dignity? So we give them a kit, and then they work for a day or 2 days, whatever issues they face. So we call them, we interact with the community, we tell them that, okay, we want to give such kind of stuff, and that is your basic requirement. But also we want to dignify that. So that is why you think about something which you can do for your community.
Right.
So bridges have been built, and the ponds are cleaned, or drainage are cleaned, and sanitation drive, plantation, so many development activities where you can spend hardly, like, no, lakhs of monies. So these things can be solved with these packs which we make.
Right.
And another important beautiful things which comes up when you ask them to do some kind of work in their particular community. The sense of ownership comes when they make it, they maintain it. So suppose, for example, if they have planted a tree, we will not force them, go and pour water every day. They will have that mentality, they will go. Even the bridges which we have been like we built in Odisha or Bihar. So even if the bamboos are damaged, we are not, we are not going to maintain or replacing that bamboos. They are the owner of that particular assets, and they do maintain. And in so many places we have noticed and experienced and witnessed, because they have made that thing as an important subject for that particular development activities. There are parallel concrete road has come up. So
Right,
that's the importance of used material, which we
right,
call it discarded material,
right,
can be treated as a big tool for development in all
right.
across India.
Right. I think so. Going back to what circular economy is, it's about using, say, a fixed number of resources and see how you can increase the life cycle of a particular resource by reusing it, recycling it, upcycling it. In the process, kind of giving livelihood to, the rural economy, and therefore kind of propagating the economy as a whole. Which is what the circular social economy per se that you kind of profess at Kunj. Which brings me to another important thing, which is to say that which is something that's been trending off late as well, which is that less is more, right? There's this whole notion of how more materials, more products, new products. Let's just keep making more and more and more and more, right? But now, increasingly, we're seeing this trend of people shifting towards less is more, which is also what the circular economy kind of professes, right? Would you like to talk a little about just that concept? What is less is more?
Yeah, so Shruti, when we talk about less is more in our system, so for us, like, especially when we experience while working with, so many communities. So what we have realized that large part of India, they are living with very less, very few, cosmopolitan cities or metropolitan cities where we have, 10, 15 percentage of people, what if we compare about our entire
Right,
population. So you find like, okay, 10 to
right,
15% people only who are actually generating surpluses, but large part of Indian population, they are already living with less. So we need to think about less is more always. But also these people are giving them a platform to these people that, okay, these things can be reutilized. But I would like to emphasize on a mindful giving and mindful utilization of particular material. Suppose
right,
if you think about, even if you are buying 6 month or 4 months or in a month also, it's fine. But you need to understand about the mindful giving aspect also. It's not just buying something and throwing something somewhere. We need to think about
right,
the proper utilization. As a responsible citizen, we need to go through that entire, when we talk about, just we always feel like, okay, that if we want to make, like, no, if we want to change the world, why don't we improve that? So for improving that particular thing, we should react. We should not post on our social media that I am a very big influencer, or I want to change the world, but our system is not aligned. It's not like that. Let's start from ourselves only, and then you can expect from others. So
right,
what we feel like, okay, we should focus more on the mindful utilization and giving. Because in India, like, most of the people are living with less only. Very few people surrounding in our society, or the place like metropolitan cosmopolitan cities, where you find something more. But we know we are all so well educated people. Only thing, we have to give the direction and think in a mindful way for towards that.
right. So I think what is really screaming through when you're talking about this whole conversation around circular economy is the way one uses resources, right? And when we worldwide think of resources, especially for any kind of developmental work, the immediate thought that comes to our mind is money, right? But Goonj kind of flips that, and Goonj is trying to work with old materials, which we would ideally call, say, waste, which I'm purposely saying quote unquote waste, but which you can actually reuse as a resource for hundreds of rural development needs and activities, right? Which also brings me back to what you were just talking about. I think it's also about less, more, the where do you draw the line about what is less for someone, what is more for someone gets a little too confusing. I think it's all about how much does one need and what is really adequate. Could you talk to us a little about that? How do you kind of use resources a little more mindfully, and as an individual, how can we kind of combat that?
Yeah, so there are few examples that when we talk about, in a mindful utilization of particular stuff. So as I said that at organization like Gunj, people when they talk about, giving something, so they give what they have. But when it comes to the Gunj processing hub, so we identify and we, understand that what is the utilization. So we currently work with more than 26 states all across India, with more than, if we include COVID, right now we have around 500 organization, 450 plus, 455 plus organization, and also like on a regular basis around 300 plus organization we have been working with. So when it comes to Goonj, so
Right.
so many people ask that, okay, they expect that, okay, Goonj is a, a kind of children's center, there is an orphanage, children will be there. So when they come and they have that kind of mindset, when they come, they say that, okay, I thought that, okay, this is a shelter, we came here. So then I ask a simple question that you have come with what? They said, I want to give my clothes. Then I normally say that, okay, when you are expecting some children's center where you are bringing your own, like, adult clothes, how that will be utilized. So that is a kind of mindful giving. We need to correct such kind of people that, okay, if you're going in a particular place, you have to, have a sense of, what kind of utilization will be there. That is why the Gunj
Right.
kind of organization will play a role towards the, correction of entire system, where we get what people have and we give what people need. So basically, when we collect, for example, these clothes and other items, for example, clothes which comes wearable goes to the, rural India where distribution happens. Non-wearable will be creating, as I said, like we fulfill the gap under women health and hygiene. There is an initiative, not just a piece of cloth, we make cloth pads.
Right.
Then if there is a clothes which are, shredded clothes from garment factory, it comes, we use as a refiller and we make asan out of that. We also make,
Right.
out of, wastage pants or shirts or anything which comes here, that will be again used for making quilt. And again we remove the buttons and zips and everything out of that, and again this will be a small kit of button or zips, and we give it in a kit itself, so that when there
Got
is a
it.
button missing they can reutilize it. Even those
Right.
zips and all jacket zips, if it is not like, the clothes which is not good and zip we have taken it out, we make a product out of that. So we have also an initiative called Green by Goonj. So under
Right.
that, if you go through our catalog or on our website, we have more than 40 types of products which are urban related as well as rural products, where uh, from ties we have make a mobile pouch, because, somebody will give you from
Right.
Bangalore, like there is a tie, good tie which you cannot find any utilization if you give it in any village. So
Right.
we make a pouch out of that. When we get something, that denim which is, more thick but non-wearable, it can be converted into a good decent side bag for the ladies. We have so many different products.
Right.
Even the cassette, you must be knowing that Saregama Pa type of, event used to come in 1990s and then till 2000. And after that, there's
Right.
no, tape recorder type of a stuff. So then the reel which you normally, if you see at Goon Center, if you come to visit any point of time, you will see that we even weave these kind of tapes and through handloom and make, bag out of that
Right.
or purses out of that. So there are different types of products, out of more than 50 different products we make, and that's how, like, we give them a second life under the again, which is connected to circular economy.
Right.
Same like, you have, as I said, talked about pram, as I told about, tricycle for baby stuff, anything that can be given as a Anganwadi kit to the particular Anganwadis where you have only midday meal facility and children come during meal time.
Yeah.
Look at urban crutches in urban India. You find so many attractive stuff for children to play, and there is hardly any stuff. So
Right.
just to attract them, you can supply. Same like
Right.
if you talk about the schools, every academic session after March, just forget about COVID because we have like throughout the year
Yeah.
there is a lockdown and then schools are not operational. Just a second.
Sure.
So we found that when we talk about that last year, so every academic session ends with lots of surpluses because in all the schools when you are going to a next academic session there will be lots of discarded stuff right from bag to uniform to shoes to notebooks, half used notebooks and all. And other part
Right.
of India where you find like children are forced to drop their school just because of their parents cannot afford such things. So we make a school
Yeah.
kit for them and we supply. So that's how like we utilize. And also Gunj, from last 2 decades we have been, you know we are one of the organization in fact who are working very deeply in grassroots areas where we are actually not only just dignifying that entire distribution system, but also we have to think about that need of particular time, and you have to
Right.
react as per the that is also called mindful giving. Suppose
Right.
there is a flood in Chennai or Kerala. And also like couple of years back, I would like to share a story of tsunami in Chennai when it came.
Right.
So we found like people gave what they have. And during tsunami, while segregation of this entire, like, we got a big warehouse from Tamil Nadu government that point of time, and because
Right.
again this distribution was not done in a proper way, so they handed over to Gunj. We started segregating where like because people denied to take such kind of stuff. And when we
Right.
did in a mindful way and dignifying way, can you imagine like in that particular lot we find 1300 monkey caps. And you can imagine in Tamil Nadu who will wear monkey caps because the temperature when you always in and around throughout year you have 30 plus. So same like when you are in need during disaster, it doesn't mean that somebody will give you. You cannot give your used clothes because
Yeah.
people like us are also affected. But just because of the situation, you have money in your ATM, but if ATM is not working, it doesn't mean that you are in need. You are in need just because of that particular situation, not throughout here. So we have to again act in a mindful way. We have to give what is the current need, what is the exact requirement of that particular scenario. So at Gunj
Yeah.
Processing Hub, we go through those minor processes and then minute processes where we just take care of not only that each particular material, but also how to utilize in a way that should be. So that is how like at
Right.
Gunj at Processing Hub we try to do it. Hope I'm
Right.
clear about.
So I think you, yes, yes. So I think you briefly mentioned your initiative, which is Green by Goonj. So I know Goonj also helms a lot of other initiatives. Would you like to talk to us a little bit more about Green by Goonj or any other initiatives that Goonj helms?
So green by Gunj, as I said that whatever surpluses which comes, which cannot be used, which cannot like redistribute, we cannot redistribute such thing to take care of someone's dignity. So everything will convert it into some kind of products,
Right.
which is again we are giving a second life to the particular material, and that's how like you give them in a urban space you give them an idea that how to reutilize and upcycle material. That's what is GBG all
Right.
about, and I have already mentioned about that. Yeah,
Right.
and obviously like I have talked about educational kit, which is again a school kit. I talked about most of our initiative normally like whatever
Right.
material which comes here, so we define and dignify in a way, and that's all our initiative is.
Right. So my next question would be, why is it that at the core of every initiative that you do, the idea is to bridge the gap, say, between the rural and the urban? Why is that something that you really focus on?
See, one thing we always feel, that why we bridge that gap is also why it's more important. But, for example, like as an individual, if I have like, no, I have 10 things to give something towards, betterment or toward to somebody who can reutilize if I'm not using anymore. But I have my individual capacity, I cannot travel 100 kilometers or 50 kilometers to give my particular stuff. I end up giving to my mates and drivers, or the local surroundings wherever I feel like, okay, people would like to give, like, no, people will be in need. But to be honest, the fact remains, how many times you will give it to your mates and driver, because they also have, they are working in 5 different houses. They are also earning in a way like, almost they can sustain that. And also place like, all these metropolitan cities, you can imagine that how much the altering cost would be. In Bangalore, I'll just tell you that even if you go to, reduce your wastage around 100 to 200 bucks you have to spend. And do you think a person who is actually getting something, uh, like, if they spend one more 100 rupees, they can buy new stuff. So they end up giving such kind of stuff, they will replace with a small bowl, utensils or anything like that. And that's how, like, no, utilization happens. But when it comes to, Gunj, so we make sure that, because we have an, like, it's an organizational setup where we are connected with so many other different organization, development organization. And we are dealing in a, with a network, which we would say that there are stakeholders, there are volunteers, there are
Right.
partners who are all, in a way they think about that, let's utilize in a way. And why Gunj focuses, because we always wanted to bridge the gap between urban and rural, where one individual cannot reach. For example, from Bangalore to Kolar, just 80 kilometers. But
Right.
you will never think about, you will go and drive to till 80 kilometers when you find like, the Bangalore traffic when is like even 7 kilometers or 8 kilometers. And year back, like it used to take around more than an hour. So can you imagine like how much
Right.
pain people will, so they will never, go to that end user where they would like to utilize, like who are the most needy, which I would say. So we focuses on, something which we try to give it to rural part of India. And again, it's a big gap which we feel. And second part, what we also utilize, even if you go to particular place, suppose for example, if you go and give your blanket or 10 pairs of clothes to homeless people in any footpath area, we need to understand that what we are giving, so for example clothes, or for example any particular thing, that is something that takes space.
Yeah.
When you are homeless, you cannot, carry a suitcase load of clothes wherever you go and wherever you are staying. So they will work on a minimalization of, their life. They will, focus on very less material. So they are, the kind of people, they would like to live with minimalism.
Right.
So we, again, if we are putting our burden to them, somewhere it will be disposed, somewhere it will be, even if you are giving a blanket. So we have many example where we found like a similar, like today we have given something, next day same person is coming to us and then asking something. And when we ask that, okay, we have given you yesterday a blanket, sir, we sold it because we don't have storage capacity. So that's how the, entire scenario happened. And again, who are
Right.
sitting 500 kilometers away from us, they are in need, but hardly there is any resources which are coming to them. So we make
Right.
sure that we should feel that gap between urban and rural India, and we do our bit.
I think that's a very valid point that you. Right. Sorry, I think yes, I was just saying that that's a very valid point that you brought up, and I think that kind of adds up and makes a lot of sense when you think about it in terms of how you live and how a certain lifestyle demands a certain kind of products and things like that. We're almost at the fag end of this conversation, guys. If you have any questions, please do drop in your questions in the comments, and we'd love to answer those questions. While as we move ahead, I'd like to find out what were your learnings from the past 1 year. It was tough times, unprecedented times. So, what is it that COVID has taught you over the
So
past
there
year?
are a few things which I would like to say, which we observed as a team. So this COVID has, taught us that inequality. You know, when we talk about when there was a lockdown phase, lots of people they started
Right,
walking to their, their natives. One thing is that we realize that okay, that point of time we need to think about more about equality and inequality. That is one thing which I realized. Second thing is that when we talk about migrant workers, because when COVID comes, so first thing which always comes is the labor part, because during lockdown
right,
phase they are the most affected community which we have observed. So they started walking from all these metropolitan cosmopolitan cities to their natives. So where we found
right,
like there should be some kind of a strong system for this people for their livelihood. See, we and our founder always says about, there are two types of migrants in earth. First,
right,
the one who migrates with choice, like me. I have migrated from my hometown because I wanted to be a something. That is why, and
right,
this migration happened because of my choice. And
right,
second migration happens because of force. So
right.
the migration happens because of force. I think we have to think about, something. And if we give them a local opportunity in terms of their livelihood and all, I think to rethink about our system. And
Right.
we have to solve in a better way. So that is
Right.
for like a question on the system itself. And again, last
Right.
point, if I talk about COVID learning, so uh, personally, I would say that now the way we are talking to each other on the,
Right.
technology platform, that is
Virtually.
again a
Right.
new. Earlier, we used to hardly, interact over the, these kind of video calls. We would used to prefer to,
Right.
meet one on one. So that is again where we are thinking that technology part we have learned a lot during this entire COVID phase.
Yeah. Yeah. I think definitely. I don't think we have any questions. I'm hoping that everybody is kind of thinking and processing what kind of resources they use, what is the waste that they generate. So as long as they're doing that, it's fine. Last but definitely not the least, I want to ask, what is the one thing that you're grateful for from the past year, to leave on a positive note?
Yes, so 2020, normally you when you talk about 2020, so you always find only negative comments when this will pass, when will complete this year and all. But we also say that this 2020 has again taught us that okay, we need to respect our nature, which is one of the major thing which we have to, we cannot challenge every time our nature and all these things. Again, during lockdown, what we also felt like that pollution level in terms of Delhi or Bombay or Bangalore, where this was under control. So
Right.
something just because of force only, at least mother nature has given us that okay, this is your punishment. You have to be at your home. You have to do something. And that's how like this 2020 has taught us that okay, we need to respect.
Right.
Second, that again because as an organization when we were working, that also taught us that what is team spirit. We are almost like 18th of March when the lockdown imposed, and then thereafter that. And I don't think that we set a day or so, just a day or so, because of some formal lockdown passes was actually in a process. That is why it took time.
Yeah.
And after that we as a team wherever there was a call, we didn't find like, okay, people who are not, willing to come, despite, so many. Even if you talk about, in our family, which we call Gunj, is our, like, team Gunj is a just one family, where the head of the family, Mr. Anshu Gupta, and Mrs. Minakshi Gupta, founder and co-founder, got infected with COVID. And but again, that spirit never felt down, that okay, even
Right.
he was under this quarantine and all these things, but he was connected to with us, and he was encouraging us on the call, Zoom call, and whatever way he, like, so that is a kind of team spirit, that though we are on ground, but again, you need moral support, because every day when we were coming back to our home, we were thinking that we have interacted with, hundreds of people. Are we infected already, or what? If some cold kind of scenario
Right.
comes, then we were in that impression that okay, there is something happened. But again, that is the team spirit, which
Right.
we say that okay, that has taken us, and we have already overcome this COVID situation now, because of vaccine and all has come. We are hoping positively that it will go very soon, and then we'll again back to our normal track.
Right. Right. I think that's one thing that a lot of people, a lot of companies will take away from the past year, which is a sense of togetherness and a large family. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chandan, for your time and for telling us so much about Goonj, its initiatives, and making us think about the way we use the word resource. What are resources? Questioning that. How do we reuse materials? And try to perhaps bridge the gap between the rural and the urban. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in for another interview of Dialogues That Matter. We have a lot of more interviews coming in. A quick announcement that the next week interview will not happen on a Friday. It's happening on the Thursday in the morning. For a particular reason, you'll find out why if you tune in. I will see you guys on Thursday, 18th of February. Until then, stay safe and stay positive. Thank you so much, Chandan, once again. And thank you
Thanks,
for
Shruti,
everyone
for
else
your,
to join us.
yeah, and thanks, Shruti, for your great initiative. Lovely meeting you. Thanks. Bye.